All right, hey, this is Act 2 of the podcast. We're getting right back into it. If you missed Act 1, go back and listen to that thing. Otherwise, this isn't going to make any sense. Okay, see ya. Stevie says the power couple was there too. Yeah, well, but they both listen, Jeremy and Rebecca. Alan says, I'll bring my wife against her will. Oh, my God. Yes, all the way from Wisconsin. Jesus. Okay, folks, I want you to wait right there. I have to go and use the boys' room. Stevie says, I'd like to try that Mexican place. I don't even know what that is. There's a Mexican place in Rockford? Holy shit. I didn't even know that they like Mexican food in Rockford, but I guess they do. Okay, well, I got to make sure that I loop this. I'll be back in moments. Okay, I'm back. And that's still playing. Okay, so yesterday at this time, I started talking about there was a 100-car pileup not far from here, blowing snow, making blizzard conditions. Everybody drives like an asshole. And then they started smashing into each other. And I've got a fantastic drone shot of the aftermath. There were 9 people injured. I don't think anybody was seriously injured. But this is the drone video for that pileup that happened during whiteout conditions. No sound of this. Yikes. Damn it. That is impressive. Fuck. And you know what? They had this thing cleared by like evening. I think I got a notification like 6-7 that it was all cleared out. So they did a hell of a job putting it back together. There were people on side-by-sides and snowmobiles who were pulling in and getting people and taking them off of the interstate and getting them to like a warming center. And then they had their cars towed there. There you go. Here's side-by-side guy with treads. That thing looks sweet. So, and then they got it opened up. It was going both ways by the end of the night. Or by evening. FedEx guy, I blame him. This dude right here. There was the one dude who looked like he was of Joe Martinez descent who said that that the FedEx guy here caused everything. And he is at the tip of the spear. So that's what I'm thinking happened. I think FedEx guy fucked it all up. Here's another Look at all these FedEx guys. They caused the problem. They are to blame for everything. FedEx guys drive too damn fast. Jeez. Quite a scene. Megan says Pablo called it. That was the guy, Pablo. Alan says we need male to female ratio from this pileup. Yeah, I'm not sure. Bob says FedEx drivers are horrible. Stevie says we need to fly over for this year's great food giveaway. Like have a drone there and shoot footage of the cars that are lined up. That's a great idea. And also, we can have aerial footage for the next time one of these hard-living liners gets pissed off and starts referring to the volunteers as the N-word, which that's what happened in our giveaway. Now, you might think that all giveaways, with the exception of ours, are just kind, sweet people. No, they're not. They're losers to begin with. Okay? There's a reason for that. They make bad decisions. So when they get pissed off, they're going to blame you and call you the N-word. Now, we are still going to do what we do, and that is help, because these people are having rough lives. And when you get in, there are certain times of the year where you have to help. You have to do your part, even though you are being called the N-word. And even though there are entitled people who are getting pissed off at you because you didn't give them the right food. Like we had that lady who we gave her the free Christmas meal. We gave her the pet food. We gave her the bags of apples. We gave her the feminine hygiene products. And then the pet food wasn't right. So she wrote a nasty Facebook post and was insulting to all of the volunteers who made that happen. Totally volunteer organizations between Great Food Giveaway personnel and Gunner and the Grand Rapids Pit Bull Alliance. So that's how it goes. It's our fault that you can't afford a bag of cat food. We're to blame that you can't buy a can of corn. It's us. We did it. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to refer to Megan what Bread Bull Brain Chris is suggesting. I don't even want to say it on the chat because that's going to lead to anxiety, and we can't have Megan experiencing any degree of anxiety because nobody wins if that happens. Ooh, hey. Ooh, hey, can you maybe delete all your podcasts because of that one comment? Bread Bull Brain Chris says we should have gotten her address so Maureen and her team could rescue that cat. Rebecca says, shout out to Irvine's for taking care of my car today. Steve at Irvine's is a gem. He is a gem. I don't know if my car is there yet. I think it's supposed to be over there at some point. That would be my future car. Was my car. Gave it to Jackie. Have to buy it back. And I have to repair it. But the cost I'm paying to repair it comes off of the price of me purchasing it. I was able to negotiate that. Thanks to you guys. I wouldn't have thought of that. Somebody in the chat suggested it. I don't know if it was David. Might have been David. Maureen writes, I'm out on the streets of Flint right now rescuing freezing dogs. Oh, my God. Again, it's remarkable how stupid people are to leave their dogs outside in single-digit temperatures or below zero with the wind chill. Yeah, I hate that. Ben Glaze says you are doing the Lord's work. Honestly, you really are. You're putting yourself in harm's way, both with the weather from the dog. The dog could lose its shit on you, or some asshole that owns a dog could do something ridiculous. She says she's kicking asses. All right. Let's see. What else did I want to get to? I got a bunch of things that are kind of like a lot of loose ends. I want to update you on Josh from Jace and Josh. We've been following the saga of these two boys from the UK since they blew into Michigan, and they had been having fun. We saw their reaction of them seeing Lake Michigan. They're like, oh my God, it's the Pacific Ocean, mate. And I've enjoyed them, but not everybody likes Josh or Jason Josh, especially on the chat here. No, I do. And he got injured somehow. And people are speculating as to how in the world did you do this, but 1 minute he was fine, the next minute he was completely fucked up. And after a weekend in the hospital, we finally have some answers here.
I've officially got a diagnosis. We've just seen a neurologist. The doctor's come in and explained to me. I've had him write on a piece of paper.
Okay, so I guess he went to see a specialist to get a closer look as to what's going on with him.
I don't know what all this means. He says I have an annular tear. I've teared a ligament between L4 and L5 and L5 and S1. If you're not a doctor like me or you don't work in the medical field, you'll have no clue what that means. It just says I've got a disc that's bulged, I've teared a ligament, and he said, yeah, it's very, very painful. I'm going home with lots of stuff to keep me topped up, steroids, medication, but yeah, thanks so much for the love and support. Onwards and upwards.
Okay, I think he had too much fun seeing the great state of Michigan. I think all the sledding and the shoveling and the wacky videos took a toll on our boy Josh there. I think that is what happened to him. I saw the video of him shoveling, and he was well, it wasn't a ton of snow, but I mean, you do the wrong thing, and the next thing you know, boom. Now, L4, L5, and S1, that's the bottom of your lumbar and the top of your sacral. That's low back. Owie. And I just hope that disc goes back. I mean, he's young. Because that can, I've heard about people who have back injuries, and it stays with them for life. For life. That isn't how they say it, but anyway. Cole writes, walk it off, pussy. Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. But Ike Humminspurts, a.k.a. Jeff, says he is here on visa. Because Megan asked, how the hell is he going to fly back to the UK? I think what she's meaning is, how is he going to be, comfortable? Yeah, I don't know. A lot of meds, to be sure. But, yeah, that was the speculation that it was just so sudden, though, because you'd have thought that when the actual incident happened, that he would have then felt the pain. But the way he described it, he was just minding his own business the next day, and then all of a sudden the pain hit. Very strange. Who knows? There was one time, I haven't had many back problems, but there was one time in particular where I was getting ready to do squats. You're in the squat rack and the weight is on your shoulders. And I was getting ready to lift the weight off of the what holds the bar. And I felt something move in my spine. Something very little move. And who knows what it was. But I knew right away that there was an issue. And I knew I had literally seconds, maybe minutes, before I was wrought with pain and not able to move. And so I was able to I was at the YMCA. I was able to gingerly walk to the vehicle and drive home. Tried not to move. And then getting out of the vehicle was next to impossible. And then that meant, because now it all had tightened up, And, oh, boy, that took days to feel better. Nick says, let's see. Alan says, I broke my back at T12, thoracic 12. Now I have bulges at L4, 5, and deteriorated discs. It sucks ass. Oh, God. Nick says, isn't that where the main arching is during face down? Now, I'm not really sure what that means because it's written kind of weird, but I think he's suggesting something about man-on-man butt sex. Because Nick does not like these two at all. Man Bun Chris says next video will be a deep dive into how Americans have insurance, and he had no idea. Rebecca says, I just finished leg day at the gym. I'm going to be sore tomorrow. But my L4, L5 is also surgically fused because I broke it. Ugh. Amy says, back pain, no joke. I can feel the pain when people just talk about it. Yeah, back and tooth are like the worst things ever. Never forget the poor NFK. One of the things that he went through when he started living here nearly 6 years ago was we figured out that his degenerative spinal issue, cervical spine, long story short, it was repaired. And they gave me the discharge directions, and he had some narcotics for the pain. Now, it didn't say anywhere, keep giving him narcotics. But they did want me to keep giving him the narcotics even after they were gone. They wanted me to refill the prescription and keep giving him the pain pill because this was such an intensely involved process that if he is not on pain medication, it will be so debilitating. It's unbelievable. But I thought, okay, this is an opioid. It was, I forgot what it was, some type of medicine that is addictive. I thought it was a bad idea to have him on it, so I intentionally weaned him off of it over a weekend. Like he had the surgery on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So by the Friday, I'm weaning him off, giving him less and less pain medicine. And I wake up on like a Monday morning, and he had been up all night in intense pain, and the poor guy was actually weeping. It was hurting. He goes, I'm hurting. I'm like, oh my God. So I called the physician, and he goes, no, you got to keep giving him that medicine. And I go, well, nobody told me. Nobody said keep giving him the medicine. You fucking idiots. And they go, no, get him the medicine. So I gave him the medicine. He took medicine for like 2 months. That's how severe this was. Man Bun Chris says, why do people hate Josh, though? The dude's just posting a video in pain, giving an update. Is it because he's foreign? No, I think that Josh and Jason Josh get the hate because they're silly. You know? I think that that's what it is. You know, not everything everybody does is going to be a hit. I mean, fuck, 98% of people that see or hear me hate me. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, LOL, those doctors don't know shit. I'll fix them. EZ, comma, probably. That is not what happened. Man Bun Chris says, remember when you only took Tylenol for the kidney? Oh, God. Yeah, but that was because the narcotics made me so violently ill. Oh, my God, was that bad. 2 days after they ripped the fucking kidney out of me, I'm vomiting, and that hurt because I called the doctor that morning that I was vomiting, and he goes, okay, now if you vomit too violently, there is a risk you could blow out your staples. So at that point, my belly would look like a tauntaun in Empire Strikes Back when Han cuts it open to stuff Luke inside. So that was frightening. So the narcotics were making me sick, and that was painful that I was vomiting and in danger of hurting myself, re-injuring the incision, opening the incision. Plus, I'm in pain because I can't take the narcotics anymore. God, that was rough. All during COVID. I'll never forget it because it was 70,000 new cases a day in Los Angeles. Megan says, I think that Jason Josh Josh and Jace get hate because influencers here can't do what they have done. No one else gives a shit about Lake Michigan until two guys from the UK are freaking out about it. That is excellent perspective. It's only because they haven't seen Lake Michigan. That's why I like them. Now, again, will I be watching them later? Probably not. Nick says, Black Belt Nick says, I like what they do, but they are too eccentric for me. But younger people love the over-the-top reactions. Yeah, they're silly. Bob says they're not gay, they're just British. British gay is super flamboyant. Well, I don't know that they're not gay. I think Stevie said that the one dude's got a girlfriend. I'm not ruling out the idea, the whole dynamic of these two tasting each other's assholes, though. I am not ruling that out. Chris in Buffalo says 2 weeks from now, someone will bring up Jason Josh, and Zane will ask who? Yes, probably. I'm already running on fumes of them. The only reason why I'm giving the update on Dude is because, it's full circle on the story. I don't want to just, drop it like a fucking hot rock. But I seriously think that it's the end of the line. Hey, this is Eric Zane, and your information is being sold online. The personal stuff. Search your own name. It's surprising what's out there. That's because people are taking your information and they're selling it. I've got a way to make all of your personal information disappear. You are not for sale. Whether you agreed to it or not, that information is available for people to buy and sell. Not okay. It's 100% true. Data brokers make billions selling your private details, and you get nothing. You don't even get a choice. Aura lets you fight back. AURA. They remove your personal data from broker sites and keep it off. Aura also alerts you fast if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura is more than just data broker removal. It's a full digital security suite that protects every part of your life online. Aura gives you a VPN to stay private, antivirus to block threats, a password manager to keep logins safe, and spam call protection to cut off the scammers. Aura also scans the dark web for your most sensitive info like your social security number, bank logins, and passwords, and notifies you instantly if they are exposed. And if your identity is ever stolen, you're backed up by up to $5 million in insurance and 24/7 U.S.-based fraud support to help you recover quickly. And right now, you can try Aura free for 14 days when you visit aura.com/remove. AURA.com/remove. That's enough time for Aura to start removing your personal information from data broker sites. Sign up today at aura.com/remove and get the peace of mind that your privacy, identity, and finances are safeguarded. AURA.com/remove. Certain terms apply. See the site for details. All right. What else do I have for you? Oh, my God. We got a goalie fight. While the national championship was going on, this clip went around the world. Bobrovsky and Nedeljkovic. Bobrovsky for...
Nedeljkovic goes after Rodriguez.
For the Panthers. Nedeljkovic for the Sharks. Nedeljkovic is getting involved in the fight, so Bobrovsky has to skate all the way across the fucking ice for this act.
Nedeljkovic goes after Rodriguez. He's throwing punches. And here comes Bobrovsky all the way down the ice. Look out.
Oh, here we go.
Drops the mitts. Bobrovsky goes after Nedeljkovic.
Oh, yeah.
Sergei Bobrovsky came 200 feet to throw punches with Alex Nedeljkovic. Wow.
Okay, both these guys are shitty fighters.
They both go tumbling to the ice.
But what do
you don't
expect?
see this very often.
Players love it. Nobody really gets hurt, but if you back up on this.
Bobrovsky goes after Nedeljkovic.
So Bobrovsky gets the helmet off first. He just yanks it right off of his head. And that's the one thing you have to do. Now, when these other knuckleheads will fight, like let's say a couple of forwards or whatever, they just punch the helmet in hopes that the exposed face area, that they make contact with it. All right? And then sometimes the helmet flies off. There was a time when a fight would start, they would both take their helmets off, but I rarely see that these times. But you got an extra level of shit you got to do, or you got to rip off the goalie's mask. So now Nedeljkovic is exposed. Bobrovsky's going to start trying to hammer. I don't know if he actually connects on a punch, while Nedeljkovic has to rip Bobrovsky's fucking helmet off.
Sergei Bobrovsky.
Okay, no punches landed yet.
200.
That one right there, but there wasn't a lot on that right by Nedeljkovic.
200 feet to throw punches with Alex Nedeljkovic. Wow.
Okay, there were no punches landed. This is ridiculous.
They both go tumbling to the...
It's just comical. I had no idea that Nedeljkovic was still playing before this video. That is one thing I have never seen in 21 years of doing Griffins hockey is a goalie fight. Ever. Not even close. I've seen a before the game fight. I talked about that recently. I've never seen a goalie fight. I've never seen a goalie score a goal, which does happen from time to time when they shoot at the length of the ice on an open net for the other team. I've never seen a bench clearing brawl, nor have I even seen a line brawl. And nowadays they're taking fighting out of the game, so it's kind of stupid. You can't, if you fight twice in a game, you're out of the game and you miss a game. And in the American League, I don't know if this is for the National League too, but in the American League, if you fight 10 times in a year, every fight after that, you get suspended. Nick says, I seen one back in the IHL days early on. It was with Chicago. Oh, that would have been great. Maybe this Wednesday at the rink. All right. The latest guy in West Michigan being a goddamn creep is according to police, is 28-year-old Nicholas Phelps from Norton Shores, Michigan, which is near Muskegon. He is a military recruiter. And so he's working closely with the schools, trying to get young people to commit to joining the military. This is the same position that the guy had when I was in high school. And he was assessing all the young men for possible military service. And he had the name of every male student at the time. This is in 1988. With a few-word descriptor next to their name. So in my class, there's literally hundreds of students, maybe even thousands. I came from a massive school. And my name is on the bottom, being that it is Z. And a buddy of mine, Fred Eckert, committed to the military. He's going into the Marines, so he knows the recruiter firsthand. And Fred got his hands on the affidavit that the guy fills out. It's pages and pages and pages of students' names. Danny Donovan, stud athlete, aggressive. Steve Fultz, Born killer. Badass. Fred Eckert. Amazing athlete. Leader. Fred comes running down the hall, getting my attention. He ran cross country with me, Fred did. Good athlete. And Fred says, "You won't believe this." And I go, "What?" And he explains to me what I just explained to you. And he points to my name, and then he moves his finger over to the field where you can write in the descriptor words. And all it said was fucking A. It said major pussy. Oh, God. So he's laughing in my face. Everybody in the school finds out about this, that the Marine recruiter is referring to me as major pussy. So then I come walking into a classroom and you hear 10 hut. And then everybody gets up and they're saluting major pussy. See, it could be like major, like I'm an officer, or I'm just a big pussy. Either way, it's insulting. 10 hut. And the guy, fuck you, you pussy. Fuck you, asshole. I'm like, oh, God, fucking shit. Another fucking embarrassment. Jesus, fuck, shit. That was the reason why I started to lift weights. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm going to get ripped. Okay. The problem is, though, when I gain muscle, I gain gayness. So I looked like a big gay twink. Not big, but I look like a ripped little twink is what I look like. It was so bad. And I blame that fucker. Motherfuck. Man Bun Chris says, time to go play LL Cool J on my radio station. I'm bad. All right. Anyway, this guy, what he did was much worse, though. He was arrested because for inappropriate contact between him and the students. And he used his position as a military recruiter to make contact with the students. The sheriff's office locally said they were made aware of the allegations. They immediately took action to make sure Phelps could no longer have contact with students. The local sheriff's office said their investigation revealed that Phelps had made contact with multiple girls from area schools, and that through that contact, Phelps had sexual contact with the girls. So he actually, there was, some, I don't know if that means they had sex or something damn close to it. And inappropriate messaging had occurred. He was arrested, believe it or not, way back, about 10 days ago, January 9th. Story's just getting out now, though. He was given a $35,000 cash surety bond. He posted bond and is currently out awaiting his next court date. And that is all that I have on this guy. Ugh. Fuck. You got to understand, that area is a hard living line area. So you can be like this guy who looks like a fucking Yugoslavian homeless national and probably get tons of tail. Rich says, so the recruiter is the catalyst for Mr. 10. In a lot of ways, yes. Tyler says, every pound of muscle equals 1% more gay. Nick says, if you would have signed up for the Marines, you would have been demoted to private pussy. I would like to think that the Marines would have made me a more masculine, manly man, frankly. And I don't think that would be a terrible thing for that guy to have said to me. If he gave me the old honesty treatment, said, look, you got a huge mouth. You're a huge pussy. You're going to have to improve yourself. Academically, you've got nothing going on. You have no athletic ability. You haven't gotten laid. Chicks won't let you touch them. And everybody wants to beat your ass all the time because you're such a dickhead. What are you going to do? I don't know. Well, if he could have convinced me, if he would have tried, I'm going to make it so that you're going to get laid and you're going to become an amazing super soldier like Steve fucking Rogers. What do you say? He probably could have convinced me to do it, but I was so physically inept that it wasn't even worth his time. Donut Dan said you could have been the Good Morning Vietnam guy, Adrian Cronauer. Great movie, by the way. One more football story, and it has to do with Michigan football. So I'm going to paraphrase this, and then I'll go back and fill in the details. There's a guy that played for Michigan football last year. He was a receiver. He had just transferred there. He spent the whole year at Michigan this year, and he didn't get any playing time. But he was expected to get a lot of playing time. It was some guy who transferred to Michigan. In fact, I got his name here. His name is Anthony Simpson. He came to Michigan, and after 2 years at Arizona and 2 years at Massachusetts, so he went into the portal, and he's now back in the portal to play for another school, but he didn't do shit against any of the opponents. He only had one time that he touched the ball, and that was in a game against Central Michigan. They never threw to him. They never gave him a handoff, but he was expected to be great, this Anthony Simpson. Well, after he entered the portal just this past week, he announced that players that were inferior to him and not nearly as good as him were aware that Sharon Moore was having that affair with that chick, and those players blackmailed Sharon Moore into getting playing time. So basically, Anthony Simpson's expecting to get some playing time, and then there are players moved ahead of him on the depth chart. And he said, well, that guy sucks. What the fuck is going on? Simpson figured out that those players knew that Moore was having the affair and used it against him to blackmail him. Holy shit. I don't know if you can hear O'Neill growling. That is incredible. Now, I don't know if there's going to be any way to substantiate this claim. In fact, several players have said, no, that didn't happen. But why the fuck would you make that up? And if you make something like that up, and you're making up a lie, then you're fucked. You could be sued. But that's what this dude is saying. Simpson said he was the best slot receiver and the fastest player on the team. And he said that the team captains were advocating for him to play more. I was treated unfairly due to Sharon Moore being blackmailed by players and staff members, which jeopardized my opportunity to get on the field. I was denied fairness. Oh, my God. Now, that doesn't surprise me at all, because that was like the worst kept secret, I guess, with Moore having that affair with whoever. I don't even remember her name anymore. Simpson is implying that another slot receiver used knowledge about Moore's forbidden relationship as leverage to get more playing time. My God. Michigan's starting slot receiver Samaj Morgan appeared to respond to Simpson's comments on his own social media, saying, y'all let people tell y'all anything and believe it. Well, that's a pretty detailed thing, and there are people that can corroborate it. You know, the captains who were advocating for him to be on the field, and he was never on the field. The Wolverines almost entirely cleaned house. There are a few people that they retained, but they've got a new coach, so everything is new. It's going to be all new players. If I kept my mouth shut, if I kept my mouth closed, no one would know that I was part of a scandal that impacted the team and impacted my chances to add to my production in college. I tried to stay at Michigan, but the quote-unquote general manager said there wasn't a roster spot for me. So he is saying Sharon Moore was blackmailed. God, this story, it's just the gift that keeps on giving. Donut Dan says he should have probably spoken up about that mid-season. Well, yeah, but it doesn't say when he knew this. He might not have been made aware of this until after the story broke. Bread Bull Brain Chris says it kind of seems like everybody knew about Sharon Moore. See what happens when you lose to Ohio State. Oh, that's so true. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up on the Patreon, I've got an update on Timothy Busfield. It's a twat. It's a twat. Oh, my God. It's a plot twist. I almost said a twat twist. That is a classic Free Bear word scramble. But they're not as ridiculous here because you can say words like twat when you're podcasting. It's still great, though. Also, are you aware how large a commercial bread mixer is? You know, the point is to add enough ingredients to make a ton of dough. This is a commercial bread mixer, the one where the chick is pouring the ingredients into it, the flour. Why would I be focusing on that? Because something horrible has happened. And I will detail that with you on today's Patreon bonus podcast. At 1 today, I have Who Are These Broadcasters with Christian Blatt. Normally that show starts at 2 Eastern. Today it starts at 1 Eastern. It's a scheduling issue. One-time deal. If you'd like to watch me with my broadcast partner, Christian, as we review various bits of hilarity from broadcast, television, news, podcasting, and such, you can find the show live on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. Just go to Who Are These Podcasts on YouTube, click live, and we start at 1 today. If you have a nomination for the asshole of the day, you can leave it in the chat. Before we get to that, though, if you are in West Michigan, remember, if you have unwanted trees, reach out to Kuiper Tree Care, Kuiper. KuiperTreeCare.com. Unwanted trees, stump grinding when the weather turns, tree trimming, storm damage if that occurs at any time, or tree risk assessment with their 3 certified arborists. Call or text 616-828-8225. That is 616-828-8225 for Kuiper Tree Care. Oops. Finally today, if your Duramax engine / Allison transmission or both on your truck needs service, take it to Merchant Automotive in Zeeland, Michigan. They are the experts on that type of equipment to be repaired. While Irvine's works on cars, EVs, hybrids, Merchant services diesel trucks with Allison transmissions or Duramax engines. Specialized pieces of equipment. A lot of you like to do the DIY stuff on your trucks. That's totally cool. But if you get in the weeds or you need more assistance, they can help you. They are your hometown Duramax Allison specialists. They also sell thousands of products to upgrade or maintain the performance of your Duramax or Allison. Get more information at their website, Merchant, MERCHANT, automotive.com. It's weird. Merchant Automotive, but they sell trucks. Well, they don't sell trucks. They work on trucks. Shouldn't it be like Merchant-Truck? I don't know. Who am I to judge? Alan says Fernando Mendoza's mom. I can't get behind that. I don't understand why you would even say such a thing. No. In fact, today we are going to go with a great suggestion from Bob. I appreciate that. It would be the Gers family. Specifically, Mom and Dad Gers. For naming their son what they named him. As always, you guys are the best. I would be nothing without the audience. If you want to support me on Patreon, please do. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. Please always support the sponsors. Buy a t-shirt. Hire me on Cameo. All that fun stuff. Everything works. Appreciate you folks. Thank you and bye-bye.